Welcome everyone to the 21st annual Samaritan Cup after party. We are, somewhat disappointed that we weren't able to do this after the round yesterday and hang out and have some cocktails, but it is what it is in this time of COVID. So we're looking forward to next year when we're all going to be able to physically be together again. But I do appreciate all of you coming and spending this time with us for our awards and some cocktails. So this is a Zoom. And so for people who are unfamiliar somewhat with Zoom, you have the controls over what you see more than we do. So I would suggest that you look in your upper right-hand corner, which was probably over there for you. And gallery view is a good way to look if you want to see everybody. Speaker view if you want to see the person highlighted that's speaking at the time. And then we do have the chat function turned on at the bottom of your screen. If you want to interact with everyone, make a comment, have a conversation, or you can select an individual if you want to, for whatever reason. Who knows? It's COVID. It's 2020. Stranger things happen. So without further ado, I wanted to let everybody know that this year we had 33 teams, 132 players. So to have a tournament pull off at selling out and capacity during COVID, those of us that have been organizing this for the better part of 6-9 months, and all of you should be very, very proud. Like, this is amazing. It's a great cause. We raised some good money for the Samaritan Center, and that's what this is actually all about. And without further ado, I want to recognize our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, Metropolitan Partners. Our Albatross sponsors, AAA Storage and Wharton Insurance Services. Our Eagles sponsors, Cynthia Wilson in memory of Scott Wilson, Don Ames, Frost Bank, Janice Colby, Lynn and Mike Davidson, PCSI, University Federal Credit Union, Weinheimer Wealth Management, Mac McWilliams. I want to thank our Birdie and Honor Sign sponsors, Advanced Pain Care, the law office of Tony Pitts, Lucia Herr, the author of Perfect Love, RSM, the auto ad agency, Marco Camacho, and Watkins Insurance Group. All of you, thank you very much for helping to support the center and make this event as successful as it was. So we're going to start off with some prizes. We're going to jump right into it. So here we go. This is how you do a raffle in COVID. Well, this is how we do a raffle during COVID. So we're going to see how this goes. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Daniel Alvarez to join me. Daniel is the chairman of the advisory board for the Samaritan Counseling Center. And I am my name is Sean Hanna, by the way. I'm on the board of trustees of the Samaritan Center. And I'm the liaison between the board of trustees and the advisory board. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have Daniel join us this year on the golf committee and take such a leadership and active role in this. And it's exciting the things we have going on at the center. I would put a little plug out there. Anyone who's interested in being more involved in the center, learning more about it, reach out to any of us, Jenny, Cindy, Josie, Daniel, myself. We would love, we're always looking for people with talent to join the advisory board and be a part of the solution that we're trying to create here and continue going with the Samaritan Center. So Daniel, tell us how this raffle is going to work.
All right, so thank you, Sean. We have just over 450 people who've been loaded into this lovely and high-tech prize wheel that you should see on your screen. We are going to go through this. Depending on how many tickets you purchased, that's how many. You can't see the names, but I promise you they're all in there. Everybody has a chance to win 13 prizes. So I'm going to go ahead and click the wheel, and we're going to see who the first winner is.
$25 Visa gift card.
And that goes to Ed Norton, Mr. Ed Norton.
We have a winner. Winner.
All right, that's our first raffle item. So then
right on.
Second one, we've got a pair of Blue Balls golf ball finding goggles.
So Jenny was going to model those for us. Is Jenny modeling those?
Well, those are going to Tommy Thomas, so you can find your ball in the rough next time. I'm sure that didn't happen at all to anybody in this golf tournament. And then for the third gift card for this particular portion of the show, we are giving out a gift certificate to Bartlett's for $50. And that's going to Joanna Barrett. So we'll be getting those prizes out after.
The Barrett's right there. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. So yeah, and so all of these prizes, when you're the winner, Samaritan, oh, there Jenny has the goggles on. Jenny, can you see the ball out in the rough? Do they work? Does it work? It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm gonna have to get me a set of those. We will be hand delivering these, right? So like it's not that high a volume. We're not going to try and open up an Amazon or anything. So we will be contacting you directly and sorting out how we get you your prizes. So this is for all the winners tonight. So don't worry about it. Okay. So just briefly, I have another video here for you that we on the Samaritan Center. This is a super cool video. We were fortunate enough to have it made for the Veterans Ball that we do every spring. In fact, we have another one of those coming up that's going to be virtual in March of next year. And so we wanted to share this with y'all too, in case you didn't make it to the ball last year. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Try sound.
You're used to having a core group of guys that you're always around in the military, and when you come out, you don't have that. You don't have a purpose. You don't have, you're kind of just like, what's next? You know? I remember when I first got out, I literally sat in a dark room for probably the first year I was out and would drink myself to oblivion every night, you know.
My husband's name is Jose, and we've been married. April will be 18 years. There's a thing when you get used to living with somebody who has PTSD, it's almost like a secondary PTSD of sorts, because it changes who you are. And so like I lost myself over almost 17 years. You go through rock bottom and you come up and you go to the bottom, and last year was like the bottom. And so it was like, I need to work on me first before I can be a good wife that you need and a good mom. So this was for me.
Roofing in the summertime, when there's guys up on the roof, you can see them, there's people, and you hear pop, 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 you know, that was bothering me for a while. I knew that I needed help, but I was unfamiliar with therapy. But my wife heard about the Samaritan Center, and we came over here and started checking it out. And because there are so many people here who are veterans or have family members who are veterans, that is an icebreaker, if you want to call it that. The tools that I got from the Samaritan Center are, for me personally, rationalization of being here and now, being present in the moment where you are, as opposed to staying in the, most difficult times of my life.
I mean, it completely changed like our household. I'll just say that. Like, I'm just grateful for where we are today. And the counseling that I got, like I said, helped me to fix me or to work on me so that I could then be a better mom, be a better wife, like be supported, just all those things that I felt like I was failing at. It's definitely, I would recommend anybody come to the Samaritan Center.
Say the Hope for Heroes program gave me the tools I needed to get my life straight, and the people that I've dealt with, all of them have been great for me. It's like, it's almost like family.
Hope for Heroes helps, I mean, in essence, it helps the whole community. They do it through people like myself, people who work in my team. Unfortunately, right now we are undermanned, so if we were to have at least 2 or 3 other members like myself, it helps just spread that flame of hope throughout the community.
One veteran is connected to so many other systems. It's unlimited potential. There's an unlimited potential for the amount of work and how many lives we're going to change.
And that's why we're doing this. You know, the Samaritan Center has been providing the Hope for Heroes program services to veterans for, you know, much over a decade, and it's critical what they do. And you know, every time I hear the stories straight from the people who've been helped, it just hits me. I have the privilege now of introducing our illustrious leader, Cindy Long. Cindy Long is the CEO of the Samaritan Center. She's been to the center also almost a decade, and she's been the CEO for 3 years, and she has guided this ship with steady hands through some rough waters, and particularly through COVID. I couldn't be prouder to be on a board of an organization with a better leadership and staff. And a lot of that is due to Cindy Long and her leadership and passion for the mission. Without further ado, Cindy Long, please.
I'm on Zoom all the time. I still forget to unmute myself. Thank you, Sean. That was a very, very kind introduction. I appreciate that. Let me add my welcome to the 21st Annual Samaritan Cup Golf Classic Post Party. And happy Veterans Day, everybody. I know we have a lot of veterans on this call, and there were a lot of veterans playing in the tournament. And as Sean said, and most of you probably know, supporting veterans and military families is a big part of our mission at Samaritan Center. And I want to sincerely thank all of you veterans who are joining us today for your service. A huge thank you to everyone who made time to put a team together and come out and play a round of golf. Some of you played both days, and one of you, not to mention any names, Christine, played 3 times, which is pretty incredible. And I'm very grateful to you and to everybody who came out and played. I hope you all had a great time. There are so many of you who have played in all 21 of these tournaments, and that just means so much to us. This tournament has always been a real labor of love. Don Ames, 21 years ago, was a member of our board and organized the first tournament and did that for several years until he turned it over to Eddie Karam to put the tournament together, and Eddie did that for several years. And now Sean Hanna, who is on our board, has chaired this committee for the past 2 years, and as you all can see, it could not be in more capable hands. Add to that our really superb development team, Director Jenny and Development Manager Josie, along with a great committee, and they pulled off another fabulous labor of love, all in the name of raising money so that people in our community who need mental health support can get it, regardless of their ability to pay. And of course, a key part of this formula is our sponsors. To all of our sponsors, a sincere thank you. Metropolitan, second year of being our presenting sponsor, and Wharton Insurance and AAA Storage sponsoring us year after year after year. You guys are just the best. I don't have to tell any of you that 2020 has been an incredibly strange and challenging year for all of us in so many ways, a year none of us will forget. I try to spend a little bit of my time focusing on the bright spots, and certainly this 21st Samaritan Cup golf tournament is one of those bright spots. Who would have thought that amidst all of the emotion and tragic and trying events that we would have 132 people show up at our golf tournament this year, and that we would raise a lot of money? It is definitely a bright spot and something to celebrate. Some of you are joining us for the first time, so let me give you a brief description of our work and our mission. For 46 years, we've been providing holistic mental health support to our community. Our staff consists of licensed counselors and social workers, acupuncturists, and certified peers who work to fulfill our mission to heal hearts, provide hope, and enhance lives. We treat all ages, we treat whole families, and our largest program, our Hope for Heroes program, serves about 700 veterans, service members, and their spouses and children every year. And I'm happy to let all of you know that this year, in 2020, the year of COVID, we also expanded our Hope for Heroes program to include first responders. We're very excited about that because we know that they too are heroes. Samaritan Center takes a holistic approach to treatment, and this means that not only do we offer evidence-based clinical counseling, we also take care of the physical symptoms that accompany stress through our acupuncture and herbal medicine and nutrition program. We believe that attention to a person's individual spirituality is also essential to healing, to moving past trauma, and leading a happy and fulfilling life. We rely on donations from the community and from events like the Samaritan Cup to be able to offer affordable and discounted services to veterans and to families who don't have insurance and who otherwise would not have access to the high quality services that we provide. We have a beautiful building in Austin. I'm sitting in our boardroom. And until March 2020, we were providing services in person at that office and at some satellite offices in Georgetown and San Marcos. In mid-March, we had to make the difficult decision to stop seeing clients in person, and we moved everything to a virtual telehealth platform with our staff all working from their homes. I can't tell you how proud I am of our team for the swift way that they accomplished this. I won't go into the details of what that entailed, but let me just tell you, it was nothing short of a miracle, and we accomplished this without shutting down for a single day. As you might guess, and have probably heard, we are in the midst of a mental health crisis related to this pandemic. This year, there are more people than ever struggling with anxiety, depression, grief, trauma. We are seeing an increase in substance abuse, in suicide, and domestic violence. People have lost their jobs, they've lost their health insurance, and they've lost loved ones. What this means to us at Samaritan Center is that we are seeing more and more families struggling who can't afford the cost of service. Our funds for subsidizing these services are quickly depleting. We take most health insurance, but our insurance revenues are declining with more clients losing their insurance. Our work and the financial support from our generous community has never been so important. I'll be honest, this is a challenging time for us. But I've been with Samaritan Center for 9 years, and we've been through challenging times before. Somehow, God has always provided, and our generous community has always stepped up. For example, this year, we needed a lot of new computers with the new demands on up-to-date technology, and our fabulous advisory board and board of trustees contributed about $17,000 over a period of about 2 weeks. And we bought new computers, essential to doing telehealth all day. So I am positive that we will get through 2021, serve many of the people who need us, and that as a community, we will overcome the mental health crisis brought on by this pandemic. Our work has never been more important, and raising funds has never been more essential. And this golf tournament is a great place to start. Thank you all for participating. Thank you for your generosity. I hope you had a great time, and I hope you'll come back next year and every year. Now it is my honor and pleasure to introduce our new friend and sponsor, Paul Liciak. He's the managing partner with Metropolitan Partners Group. What I know about Paul is that he is a generous new friend and sponsor to the Samaritan Center who took time to learn about the challenges that veterans face when they transition out of the service. and he decided to help us support those veterans. Paul, as I said, is with Metropolitan Group. Over the past 11 years, they have provided hundreds of millions of dollars in loans to small and mid-sized companies across a variety of sectors through the United States, including specialty finance and financial services, housing, farmland and agriculture, technology, and media. By working with fundamentally strong companies that are not typically served by traditional lenders and asset managers, they've financed specific catalytic and growth events for companies and help them scale their businesses, expand operations, and avoid equity dilution. I am thrilled and honored that Metropolitan has sponsored our event again this year, even though Paul and his wife were not able to make the trip from New York to play this year. He had 3 wonderful teams out there, fun teams, great people to meet. And I could not be happier to introduce Paul Liciac.
Thank you very much, Cindy. It's a pleasure to join you guys by Zoom all the way here from New York. I do miss you guys this year. We had a great time down there last year, and hopefully next year we'll be right back down to see you guys. So as Cindy mentioned, I'm Paul Lisiak. I'm the managing partner of Metropolitan. We were lucky enough for this to be our 2nd year sponsoring your tournament. It was amazing to be down there last year to meet so many of you, and your personal stories were touching. The struggles are real, and it was amazing to hear and see how much the Samaritan Center has done to positively affect the lives of all of its friends and extended community. One question last year, which was asked to me, was how is a New York City finance firm involved with Texas veterans? Well, first and foremost, my eyes and ears are really opened by the passion of my good friend Sean Hanna. So often, many of us civilians go through each day accepting and taking for granted the liberty and freedom our armed forces provide to us. We hear, read, and see many heroic stories and sad stories of soldiers in action on TV, on the internet, and through other friends. In politics, you see many heroes who served our country and come back and continue to give. It was really shocking to learn firsthand of the long-term human cost, which is not always made apparent through many of the heroic stories. My wife and I have had actually all 4 of our grandfathers served in World War II, and also my wife's father served in Vietnam. They rarely ever spoke to us about the atrocities that they see, but often spoke about the camaraderie and brotherhood that they experienced in their time doing in service. It was probably not like that the problems and the mental anguish didn't exist, but most likely because mental health was really never an acceptable topic. These are brave men, these are strong men, and it takes a lot to admit when there are problems. My wife's grandfather actually received the Navy Cross for saving 7 people from the water when a ship was torpedoed in the Atlantic Ocean. Ironically enough, he was court-martialed, and there's many family stories about how great it was that despite being court-martialed, later they came back to give him posthumously the Navy Cross, but no one ever asked him about his experience emotionally and whether or not there was any trauma associated with it. And even after last year's event, I was talking to my mother-in-law, and she actually stopped and said, "I never thought to ask." And that was really something which actually really did hit home to me. But while these family connections to military service are many decades ago, the real reason that Sean's story has resonated with me is that in 2001, I actually both worked and lived in downtown Manhattan. I personally witnessed the second plane hit the towers, and later I actually lost my office building, which was across the street from the towers in the financial district. It was a horrible day, as you can imagine, and it replayed in my mind countless times, and even 20 years later, it's still something I think about on a regular basis. Many friends of mine were lost in the attacks on New York City, and this is Metropolitan's backyard. And while those attacks were also in Pennsylvania and Washington, what was amazing to see in the months following 9/11 was that all of America saw that as an attack on our country, on our liberty, on our freedoms, and all the freedoms our forefathers fought so hard to protect. What was amazing to think about after last year was really about how many Texans took up the arms to fight for all Americans, and all those of us in New York City, even after 9/11, we saw the rest of the country fighting for us, and it was really just amazing to see. And not a lot of New Yorkers that I knew went off to fight, and knowing that basically this is a single country. Texas and Texas and New York are connected in many more ways than we may think on a day-to-day basis. So the Samaritan House and our contribution here is our opportunity to give back and say thanks both from 9/11, but also more recent wars, and really it's our way to say thanks that you guys allowed us to recover mentally and restart our lives in New York City, while many others sacrificed greatly, both physically and emotionally, in the subsequent events. Obviously, 2020, as Cindy mentioned, has been a year of many, many challenges, economically, physically, mentally. About 10% of our organization actually has tested positive, and some have actually had some ongoing issues after recovering from the initial bouts with COVID. But 100% of our team has obviously suffered emotionally and mentally with anguish that the health crisis has sparked. So while we're all feeling a portion of what trauma is like, both each day and the lasting effects, we're not experiencing anything close to the stresses of the battlefield. But going through COVID this year further reinforces our commitment to Samaritan House and to help those that suffer, both themselves, their family, and the company. So it's critical for us to come together, and we want to be there for Samaritan House in the future as well. We appreciate the 46 years that Samaritan Center has put into their efforts there. And thank you for coming alongside Metropolitan and everyone else who donated. While we're lucky enough to be the speaking donor, I know many of you do a lot more than we do on the ground, and that's very much appreciated. And I do hope to continue to support the Samaritan Center and see you next year. In addition to the other investments that Cindy mentioned, a few years ago we did actually invest in bourbon and Clyde Mays, which Sean has become a very good friend of, and I believe we're able to get Clyde Mays to deliver a few good spirits, both bourbon. I think they also did some tequila this year, which is their new brand. But then also an investment we made just a couple months ago is actually into addiction treatment centers. So while we're investing in bourbon, we're also investing in addiction treatment centers, which we have one of the largest roll-ups of centers in the UK. So we're happy to be investing in that. And obviously they do good work. They make money. Obviously we're for profit, but we are trying to give back as much as we can to the community in lots of ways. So with that, I'll say thank you and pass it back to my good friend Sean and Cindy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. And I mean, absolutely, on behalf of the board, on behalf of, Cindy, our CEO, and the rest of the staff, thank you for coming alongside again this year and being our presenting sponsor and picking up the phone and getting some great prizes. I kind of stacked them up on the shelf behind me so that people could see them. The different brands, the whiskeys from Clyde Mays and the tequila that Konica Brands is carrying now. They're all good, and I can't wait for us to give some away tonight for some of these winners. So speaking of winners, Daniel, you ready to get a few more winners off our raffle?
Yeah, let's put some more on the board here. So first up, this one's going to be again for another set of those rangefinder blue balls glasses. Maybe I don't know if Jenny is again, but we've got a winner here, Paul Turturro. Paul's actually on the advisory board as well, so congrats, Paul. Next up,
another one that played more than once. He had a team each day, Daniel.
Okay, yeah, awesome. All right, next on our list is the Harley Davidson gift basket. Don, you want to tell us about?
So we got. Let me tell you a little bit about what's in here. So Harley, Central Texas Harley Davidson Round Rock kicked in a really cool trucker hat. There's an awesome golf polo, Harley polo, and some Black Rifle coffee, which is a better known company.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really unique. So that goes to Phil Slinkard. Hopefully I'm saying the last name correctly.
Congrats, Phil.
Okay, and then the last item for this round is going to be another gift certificate for a local restaurant, Pint House Pizza. This is for $50. This is going to Pat Hudspeth.
Awesome. Congratulations, Pat. Pat Hudspeth of Unique Pools. They've played. I ran into Pat out on the course, and Don Ames 21 years ago got Pat to play in this tournament. And Pat, I think he remembers he's played in this tournament every year. I don't think he thinks he's missed one. So we definitely appreciate the Hudspeth's long support and participation in this. So moving on through our agenda here, it's now my honor to introduce Mr. Dave Meyer. Dave just came off our board of trustees, but is staying on because of his passion for the mission of the Samaritan Center on our advisory board, and so we're happy to have him. He also participated directly in the golf tournament as part of our committee and talking things through and planning things out. And he is also a veteran, so happy Veterans Day, Dave. And he is going to be introducing our guest speaker for tonight. Dave, it's all yours. I got to unmute Dave.
Am I on? Okay.
You are good, Dave.
All right. Thank you. As John said, I've been associated with the Samaritan Center for about 8 years now. And the stories and stuff that we hear and the support they give to everybody in the community is fantastic. But I'm also a proud member of the University of Texas Golf Club, very beautiful layout. And it's also the home course of the nationally ranked men and women's golf teams. And tonight it's my honor to proudly introduce John Fields, the head coach of the University of Texas Longhorn men's golf team. So, John.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, first of all, I'm delighted to be here. I'm thrilled and honored to be a part of something that's just absolutely so special. And I'm learning a little bit more about it this evening myself, but you've been kind enough, Dave, to give me that information. Sean, thank you for doing this. Cindy, great leadership. And Paul, Metropolitan, what a wonderful thing that your company is doing and getting behind all these programs and all the things that are so positive in our community and help people lead better lives. We're all better for it, and I'm very appreciative. And I'm also extremely appreciative of all the people that, all the golfers that have played that. Who would have thought that you would be playing your Samaritan event on Masters Week? COVID has had a funny way of changing people's lives as well. And the odd thing this year is that I was very worried just of our little world that golf was going to take a big hit in 2020, 2019 and 2020 because of COVID. And it had been hit extremely hard in the financial crisis of 2008. I was extremely worried that this might actually be a knockout blow for golf. And it has been anything but that. If you're golfers, you know that plays up 30 and 40% in some cases on golf courses around the United States. In some cases, it's up 100% and more. And so golf has been kind of a leader, and it's been wonderful because it does have some of those characteristics where people can go to the golf course, and it's been a wonderful outlet for them mentally, those that are challenged with all the difficulties of life right now. And especially when we were in the shutdown, because there wasn't many places you could go, but you could go outdoors, play golf, and enjoy yourself. So odd that this would be an incredible time for golf, and it has been that. And I also think it's been an incredible time for caring people to get involved with different programs and different very beneficial parts of this community. And this certainly is that Samaritan and the Samaritan offices and the Samaritan, all the people that work there. I just want to congratulate you. And I want you to know that my wife and I, Pearl, been married to Pearl for 40 years this year. We think it's just a wonderful program, and we're very appreciative of the players, the staff, all the leadership, and everything that you do. A little bit about me. I'm the golf coach at the University of Texas right now, currently. I'm in my 24th year at Texas. I was 10 years at New Mexico before that, in Albuquerque. Before that, I was a golf professional in Southern Arizona. Before that, I played professional golf for 1 year in Europe on the European PGA Tour when Seve Ballesteros and Greg Norman and Bernard Langer and Sandy Lyle and Ian Woosnam and so many great players were there. I was not one of them. I was trying to be one of them, but I was not one of them. Before that, I played 4 years of college golf at New Mexico and graduated. And before that, I grew up in Las Cruces, New Mexico, at a wonderful place. To be honest with you, I was introduced to the game of golf when I was 12 years old by my dad. And I ended up spending 6-7 years at New Mexico State Golf Course around college golfers, and had some great leadership, and always desired to be in golf. People always say you better be careful what you ask for in life, because you might just get it. I always thought that I was going to be a professional golfer, and that I would be highly successful, and that I would make a lot of money, and then I could then go help kids. That was my desire. I wanted to give them a better opportunity than I felt like I had. And the odd thing is, I'm still in golf. I'm working with kids, and I'm giving them a better opportunity than I ever thought I could have. And the cool thing about that is I got exactly what I asked for. I probably should have been a bit more specific, but I would not trade anything that has happened to my wife and myself over the last 40 years, and in truth, the last 34 years as a college golf coach. We've had some great teams. We've won a national championship in 2012. I'm currently in Augusta, Georgia right now. Some bucket list items in our life have happened. We've had guys that have gone on to win PGA Tour events. We've had guys that have on now to win major championships. That would be Jordan, winning the PGA, winning the U.S. Open, the British Open, known as the Open, and the Masters, and his quest would be to try to pull off the career Grand Slam one day and win the PGA. I'm excited about being here in Augusta this week. We have 3 players playing. We've got Scottie Scheffler, who was the Rookie of the Year on the PGA Tour last year. Another bucket list item for Carroll and I was to have a Rookie of the Year. And we've had 2 of them in the last 8 years, Jordan Spieth being the other. So Jordan Spieth's here with his college teammate, Dylan Fratelli, who's one of the best players in the world from South Africa, that played on our golf team and made the putt for us to win the national championship in 2012. And then we've got Scottie Scheffler. One thing that I'm delighted to tell you is that all of them are caring people on the PGA Tour on a normal basis, and they've been challenged too by COVID. They don't get to do the pro-ams that they normally do, but they raise monies for wonderful projects just like Samaritan, and the things that you guys are doing with our veterans is just absolutely outstanding. That's close to Jordan's heart. He has his own foundation where he's involved with different groups, and our guys have been in the middle of that. I'm very proud of our former players at Texas who have been out on the PGA Tour. Our team, our alumni, have won 90 times on the PGA Tour, and 8 major championships are part of those 90 victories. During that time, I think they've been responsible for raising over $100 million in the communities that they play in across the nation. And then we have other gentlemen that have played in our men's golf program in Texas that have gone way above and beyond in their communities and with help. So I'm very excited about what our golf team brings to the table. A lot of people don't realize that a college golf team has the roots that we have. Our program is over 90 years, and I feel like every day we're in a constant building a program that's 90 years old. That's amazing to think about, because sometimes you think, well, if you won a national championship and you've won conference championships and regional championships and other golf tournaments, don't you feel like you've arrived? But the truth is, we never arrive. We never have finished. And we're always building onto our golf course. One of the great things about being a part of the University of Texas Athletic Department is that we never stop. We've got our challenges right now, just like everybody has, and the social aspects of our world right now. But we'll persevere. We will persevere. We're Texans, and the fact is that we're building the south end zone right now. We're building a new basketball arena. We'll be part of the fabric of Austin, Texas, from now until the end of time. And I'm proud to be a Longhorn. I'm proud to be here with you all right now. And I'm very appreciative of everything that y'all have done, both past, present, and what you're going to do in the future. And I think it's God's good blessing that you had 132 players play in this event. Cindy, congratulations. Paul, thank you so much for your leadership and your sponsorship. And then Sean, thank you for doing this. And Dave, thanks for inviting me. Hook 'em horns, everybody. God bless you.
Thank you, Coach.
Welcome, Coach. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I mean, you've built a legacy of creating legends and Hall of Famers. It's amazing. I can imagine how proud you must be of what you've done with these young kids and the drive, and good people, right? They're good people. Like, I mean, it's amazing. The character and the performance. Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much for being with us, Coach.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, Daniel. Stuff. We got more stuff. Let's get some more stuff out to the people. They're hungry for our prizes.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next item in our raffle here. We have a Kendra Scott necklace and a pair of earrings. Those are going to be going to Chris Wharton or his significant other. More like that. Kendra Scott.
Congratulations to Chris Wharton from Wharton Insurance. Awesome.
All right, and then next on our list we have what we're calling a wine duo from Twin Liquors. That's a red and white wine.
Them up in one bottle, or are they separate bottles?
Oh, I think I don't know if it's a mix. It's a new blend. It may be a new blend.
Look at the Barrett's cleaning house tonight. Joe Barrett got something earlier. Now Tim Barrett. I think that this thing might be rigged.
There's no recounts here. All right. The next item on our list is another gift certificate to a local restaurant, Honest Mary's, for $50. This will be going to Matt McWilliams.
Congratulations, Matt. You know, if you're looking for anybody to take the lunch, Matt, you can just give me a call. You got my number. All right, awesome.
Go back to you.
Cool. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. So I'm always, I love this part of the deal every year where we get to celebrate the Don Ames Spirit Award. And this year we actually have Don Ames presenting the award, and we were fortunate enough to get a video of him earlier doing this. So I have been having some issues with sharing. So let me see if I can get this right. So Don, just to say a few words, he, like I mentioned earlier, he started this tournament. This is the 21st annual, and he started this. He was on the board of the Samaritan Centers. He's been a long time supporter, and I'm sure there are a number of you out here that will also know that Don Ames has been a long time arm turner. He will grab you by the arm and tell you, you are going to come play in this golf tournament. You are going to support this center. And because of his passion for what the center does and the changes in the lives of the people that they serve. I consider Don Ames the godfather of the Samaritan Center. Like, Don calls, that's not one of them that goes to voicemail. You pick up the phone, what can I do? Because he does the same. He will answer the phone, and he's there for his neighbor and his community. So let me get this thing shared, and we will go.
God is great. Life is good. Put God in the center, and everything comes together. The recipient of tonight's Spirit Award would always say this: life doesn't get any better than this. Today we honor Scott Wilson with the Samaritan Center's Classic Spirit Award. Scott was a remarkable man. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how the Samaritan Spirit Award got started? It was God's blessing and surely God's plan for my life's journey to help form the Samaritan Classic 21 years ago, when we named the Samaritan Classic the Minister's Cup. We decided that the tournament should be dedicated annually to an individual who had made substantial contributions to the Samaritan Center and to the city of Austin over their lifetime. Our first recipient to receive the award was Johnny Jones. Johnny, his son Ron, and their family made substantial contributions to the center and Austin over their lifetime. Johnny and his family have now been supporters of the Samaritan Center for over 35 years. I'd like to ask you a question. Do you know the song, You'll Never Walk Alone? Well, anyone who knows me knows I can't sing, so certainly I'm not going to attempt to sing the song. However, I'd like to read you 2 verses of that song. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm, there will be a golden sky and the sweet silver sound of a lark. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Many people will walk in and out of your life, but their only true friends will leave footprints on your heart." Scott Wilson was such a friend. Scott was always there to greet you with his great confidence and his smile. Every man has a great woman in their life, and Scott was blessed to have Cindy in his. They were happily married for 44 years. Scott met Cindy at the University of New Mexico. Scott was sitting with a group of friends at lunch when Cindy and a girlfriend came to the lunch table. Scott and his buddies asked them to join them. Cindy says they didn't know Scott or the buddies, but she thought Scott's sweet smile and his gentle ways would make lunch okay. Shortly after, they became friends, and they started dating, and eventually they got married. Scott and Cindy raised 3 wonderful children. There was Ryan, Shelby, and Garrett. Scott graduated from the University of New Mexico with a degree in accounting, but his heart was set on becoming a petroleum man, a petroleum landman. He wanted to be in the oil and gas business. Scott and Cindy moved to Austin. Scott pursued his studies to become a petroleum landman. During those years, Scott fell in love with Austin, and he fell in love with the University of Texas. Scott finished his studies to become a landman, and Tenneco Oil hired him, and they sent him and Cindy to California for the next 3 years. After 3 years in California, Scott was recruited to come back to New Mexico to work for the largest independent oil and gas business in New Mexico, Yates Petroleum. After a few years, Scott joined his father, his brother, his sister, and his family to form their own independent oil and gas business. Years later, Scott and Cindy decided to move to Midland, Texas, where they formed a new independent oil and gas business with one of Scott's best friends, Richard Barr. That venture became very successful. In 2004, Scott and Cindy moved back to Austin. Scott ran his company remotely with Richard, and they became even more successful. Scott and Cindy loved being in their new home. It was in the hills near Barton Creek, just west of Austin, looking down on the city below. Well, Scott loved sitting on his back porch with his favorite glass of red wine at night, especially on those nights when the UT Tower was orange in the city below. When Scott and Cindy settled in Austin, they got very involved with the nonprofit organizations in town. They gave their time, they gave their talent, and they gave their treasures. A few of these include the Austin Symphony, the Austin Opera, and Riverbend Church. You'd often see Scott and Cindy holding events at their home to raise funds for these organizations. They were always generous with their home. In their first year back to Austin in 2004, I was blessed to meet Scott Wilson through a friend. At that time, I was the chairman of the Samaritan Classic. It was known as the Ministers' Cup. I was sponsoring a team, and I knew Scott liked to play golf, so I invited Scott to join my team. Scott assured me that he wanted to win the cup. Scott was a pretty good player. We did not win the cup that first year, but Scott assured me that he'd show up again and he'd bring friends. Well, for the next 12 years, Scott played every year, and he always brought a team. The only thing is he stacked his team. He had the best players. He wanted to win the cup. Eventually, Scott won the cup. Cindy tells us that days and days after him winning the cup, he had the biggest smile and the biggest grin on his face as he would sit on his back porch with his glass of red wine looking down on the city below. Scott's presence in the Samaritan Golf Tournament benefited us in so many ways. It was through Scott's annual commitment to play that he would bring other friends to play or to become volunteers. Eddie Carroll was one of those friends, and many of you know Eddie. Eddie's never been on a winning team. As a matter of fact, I've never been on a winning team. But if you know Eddie in my golf game, you will understand why we haven't been on winning teams. However, no one would question Eddie Carroll's heart for the center. I don't think anyone would ever question my heart for the center. We both love the Samaritan Center, and we want to help the Samaritan Center grow in any way we can. After Scott's introduction to Eddie, Eddie went on to become the chairman of the Samaritan Golf Tournament for about 6 or 7 years. That started in 2013. In 2019, Eddie passed the chairmanship over to Sean, who is our chairman today and doing a great job. It was through Scott's introduction that Eddie came along, and it was through Scott's enthusiasm that Eddie led us to continued success with the Samaritan Classic. Eddie and Scott enjoyed a very special friendship. One day they were playing golf, and Scott had hit a bad shot that went into the lake. Scott threw his 3-wood into the lake. He then proceeded to go into the lake. He tried to retrieve the club, but Eddie remembers Scott never got that club back. Scott also remembers Scott saying later, "Why in the world did you let me do that?" Well, Scott died on January the 16th at the age of 63. Sadly, Scott's no longer with us. But I think if Scott were here today, he would feel humbled, he would feel honored, he would feel undeserving to win the Spirit Award. Scott might simply say something like this, because he often said it to Cindy, his children, and his friends. Can life get any better than this? As we honor Scott tonight with the Spirit Award, if Scott were here, I think his parting words might be this. He would ask you these questions. How do you feel when you help others? How can your life be used by God to make the world a better place?
Wow. Don, that was beautiful. And I think, just personally, I would have felt I lived a good life if someone ever said those sort of words about me. That was touching, heartfelt, and powerful. And Don, thank you for digging into your heart and bringing those words out. I didn't know the relationship with Eddie and Scott. That lends a new weight to the role that I'm playing here. And Cindy, thank you for your continued support of the center and our mission. And we will continue to keep this thing going and try and do Don, Eddie, and Scott proud every year. We keep it rolling. Wow. So time to transition to winners. We got more winners, and now we're getting into the actual tournament play. So I'm going to start talking about some winners here. We had 2 days of play because of COVID, so I can put a reference to this. So we had 2 days of play. For the teams playing in the tournament, we have 3 divisions: men's, co-ed, and women's teams. And we have winning teams, and it's for both days. It's all one tournament, winning in each and runners up in each. And then each day we had individual contests that are by the day, so with lots of winners. Women had 2 closest to the pin. Men had 2 closest to the pin. We had a hole-in-one contest for a Rolex. That was for the whole tournament. And we had a virtual long drive competition brought to us by Barton Creek Fitting Studio. You can go see Bobby and Chris out at the Canyons range, set up with them and get fitted for clubs. They've done me. They've done my whole family. I'm not the best advertisement probably, but my wife is. So she's incredible. And then we also had a putting contest. So we're gonna get to these prizes. So for women's long drive on number 6 on day 1, these are all going to be day 1. Women's long drive was Aaron Cephas, and she wins a bottle of Prospero tequila sponsored by Conica Brands. So that is for Aaron. Congratulations. Women's closest to the pin on number 8, which is a bottle of champagne. Jenny, I don't know if you have the bottle of champagne to hold up, but I'm sure it's a fabulous bottle of bubbly, is the one and only Ms. Vicky Beal. And then the women's closest to the pin on number 13 on day 1 for another bottle of champagne is the fantabulous Dr. Tina Ward. There she is. Look at the party. Yep, there we go. And then the men's long drive on number 15 for another bottle of tequila is Ron Cipriano. Congratulations, Ron. Men's closest to the pin on number 11, a bottle of the Clyde Mays whiskey, is Stan Waterhouse, who was Eddie Karam's talking about, bringing your friends. Stan Waterhouse, friend of Eddie's, I believe from El Paso, came all the way from El Paso just to play in our tournament. Gotta love that. And coincidentally enough, men's closest to the pin on number 17 was Mr. Eddie Karam. Mr. Eddie Karam. So he's going to be getting one of these bottles of Clyde Mays bourbon as well. You're not getting this one. This one's mine. This one's staying with me. But they're going to get these bottles. And that did not come out of the donations, by the way. I did not skim off the top of our. So day 2, contest winners. Women's long drive, number 6, another bottle of Prospero tequila brought to us by Conica Brands is Chris Johnson. Congratulations, Chris, rock star. Women's closest to the pin on number 8, another bottle of bubbly, is the beautiful Christine Breck. I can say that because she's my wife. And then the women's closest to the pin on number 13 for another bottle of bubbly is the fabulous, dynamic Ms. Catherine Simonow. Congratulations. And let's see, men's long drive, number 15, for a Tito's vodka 4-pack of 20 mils. So it's 800 mils. So it's actually better than a fit. This is an even better prize, even though, it is vodka. It's not Clyde Mays whiskey, but it's still a good prize. It's Mr. Joe Olivo. Congratulations, Joe. Men's closest to the pin on number 11 is another bottle of Clyde Mays, Mr. David Johnson. And men's closest to the pin on number 17 on day 2 for the Clyde, it's not Clyde Mays though, for the McConnell's Irish whiskey. So Conica Brands has an Irish that is yummy. That is Mr. Grant Kinchin won that one. All right, so quick round of applause on all of those contest winners. So now our putting contest, what was that, about a 40-foot putt? Mr. Jack Crownover was out there managing our putting contest most of the time. Also, Jack, I want to thank you for being a fabulous volunteer, being out there all day, both days. Jack recently came off our board as well. Again, stayed on the team, on our board of advisors, been participating in our golf committee. So a lot of gratitude, Jack, for your continued leadership and support. We ended up having, it looks like, 7 individuals that each, you had 3 shots to make it. We had 7 people make one of their 3. Nobody made 2. And so then I had to figure out, we had to talk about what we were going to do. But Velocity Distribution was generous enough to donate 2 cases of, what's the brand? Avivo. I keep saying that wrong. Avivo wine to us. Jenny is holding up. If you can see Jenny, she's holding that up. So we went, you know what? Done. Everybody's a winner. So all 7 of the people who made one putt, instead of doing some raffle thing, they're all getting a bottle of the Avivo. And we'll be getting that out to you. And so that is Robin Donaldson, Dave Charlton, Jason Hampton, Jason Colettis, Taylor Fife, Jeff Meek, and Mike Davidson. So all of them. And that was a hard putt. I mean, I putted at that thing, I don't know how many times when I was setting it up and trying to pick the shot, and I never made one. So that was a hard putt. Okay, so now we are down to our last, before we get to the team winners, we are down to the last 2 individual competitions. Now, like I said, Bobby Dean and Chris were out there doing the virtual long drive. We have a men's winner and a women's winner on the long drive. Now, I tried, I'm not the most tech savvy. I don't know who gave me this job to try and do this stuff. I'm going to show you a picture of what they're each going to get. So Paul Lisiak, Mr. Pick Up the Phone and Support the Samaritan Center, he donated 15 Golden Tee video games to the Samaritan Center for us to use as part of our fundraiser. Now, we're going to be coming up with another event that we're going to use most of those machines for. But as part of that, getting everybody excited about it, we took 2 of those machines, and those are the prize for the long drive. So let me hold this up. This is the one. There you go. You can kind of see it's about 75% the size of a full-size video game. All right. So these are legit, and it has all the versions of Golden Tee on it, right? So it's the Golden Tee, and the control panel is the actual one, like the same control panel that you would play if you were out at the bar or doing whatever. So these things are super cool. It's in my man cave, not my office, because I have to work during the day. I couldn't have it in my office, so it's in my man cave, which is actually my office. So the women's winner of the virtual long drive, hitting a 208.7 yard drive, is Ms. Aaron Cephas. There you go, Aaron. Love it. And the men's, this is sick. The men's long drive at 293.7 yards was Mr. Grant Kinchin. So congratulations, the 2 of you. You have a screwdriver. It takes you about an hour and a half to put one of those things together, and all you need is a screwdriver. So easy day. We'll get those delivered to your house, and I'll put it together for you if you want me to. So awesome. So now we get to the team winners. So team winners, we have, like I said, 3 divisions, a winner and a runner-up an inch. The runner-up teams, each member of the runner-up team gets a bottle of the Avivo wine. Right? Am I right? I'm looking at Jenny to make sure I'm not messing up what people are getting. Yeah, gets a bottle from Velocity Distribution Company. Thank you very much, Kimberly, for coming alongside and supporting and getting us these prizes. So the winning team for each one, we're going to give you a phone call. We're going to let you pick your color, and we're going to order the 32-ounce Yeti tumblers, and we're going to get them engraved with your whole team's name on there, women's champion, 2021 Samaritan Cup, and men's champion, all that. So they're going to get those cups. I think that's it. Is that it, Jenny? They just getting the cups? Getting the nod. That's it. Okay. So women's runner-up team for Avina Wine were Kelly Weir, Alice Pake, Ann Smalling, and Corin Travel. That's our runner-up team. Congratulations, ladies. Awesome. Well done with a score of 75. The women's winner, getting a tumbler, come on. Christine Breck, Aaron Cephas, Vicky Bill, and Dr. Tina Ward. Congratulations, ladies. You are the 2021 Samaritan Golf Club Cup Classic Ladies Champion. All right, co-ed team. Co-ed runner-up team. How many teams did you play on, babe? Co-ed runner-up team. Christine Breck, Tim Barrett, Grant Kinchin, and Jim Brown with a score of 60. Congratulations. That was also the score of the women's winning team, minus 12 at 60. And then the co-ed winning team with a score of 58, Don Simenow, Catherine Simenow, Chris Johnson, and John Johnson. Congratulations, co-ed champions. Men's teams, men's runner-up team getting the wine are led by the captain, Mr. Randy Long, with Sean Sullivan, Leroy Garcia, and Sonny Hinojosa with a score of 59. Woo, that's legit. And then Mr. I've Never Won with a score of 56 is Mr. Don Ames as captain, Brian Powell, Carl Mickelson, and Taylor Fife. Congratulations, gentlemen. Low round of the whole tournament with a 56. That is sick. That's a game I am unfamiliar with. Okay. I feel like I'm doing the news. I need that Dennis Miller pencil thing. All right, so Daniel, we got a few more things to give away, right? This is the end of the raffle stuff. And then we have one singular live auction thing that I'm going to play auctioneer for y'all, but I'm not going to do all that Boise thing. But before then, we got 4 more raffle tickets. Daniel, it's all you.
4 more raffle tickets. That's right. Okay, so first up we have, well, these are all going to be for restaurant gift certificates. The first one is to Suerte for $50, and that will be
oh, that's fancy.
Wally Erickson.
Congratulations, Wally.
All right. Next, we got 2 gift certificates, separate gifts, separate raffles. But the first one's to Waterloo Ice House for $50. First one will be going to John Johnson. Congratulations, John.
Yeah.
The second gift certificate to Waterloo Ice House for $50 goes to John King.
Congratulations. I feel like there should be all this clapping, Daniel. They're going to sound quiet. Like this whole COVID Zoom thing. It's like the background noise.
I don't know. I thought it was going to be playing, but apparently I'm not as as I thought I was. Okay, so then the last one, the last raffle item we have is to Fix Southern Supper House. It's a $100 gift certificate down there at 5th and West downtown.
Yeah, their biscuits, Daniel. You had their biscuits, Daniel.
The biscuits, the honey badgers, great there too.
Oh my God. Oh.
That goes to Mike Foster, lucky winner.
Congratulations, Mike. Mike, if you need a date, I've got a mask.
Great. All right. That does it for the raffle. So I'm going to stop sharing that. All right, Mr. Auctioneer, it's going back to you.
I'm not even going to try doing that. So, all right, Daniel, I appreciate it, man. Congratulations, all the winners. And you guys heard those restaurants, right? And this is a tough time for restaurants. I mean, we all know that. We all have some of our favorite restaurants that are no longer around. Like COVID's been tough. So please pay attention to those restaurants that made those donations. If you go in there, you do some curbside, you do whatever. Please thank them on behalf of us for kicking in a little bit of cash. That it's probably tight for them. It's not like it usually is. So please support them. So here's what we have. This is going to be a live auction. What we're going to do is everybody down in the chat, there's a little chat thing. You can click that little chat button. This is where the auction is going to happen. So it already has your name. Don't use somebody else's name because you can change your name. Don't go changing your name and putting in somebody else's. This is where you're just going to type in a dollar amount. And as this thing goes, this thing goes. You see somebody and they went too low and you want to go higher, you just go higher, right? So that we're not trying to yell across Zoom and doing all that. What we have is Omni Barton Creek Resort and Spa kicked into us a one-night stay, one room, one-night stay, and a round of golf for 4. This is approximately a $1,500 value. Jenny's holding it up right there. All right, so very gracious of them to do that. We are going to, and if you haven't been out there, I mean, you were out there for the tournament, but if you haven't stayed out there, they just did what was a $250 million renovation they did on this thing last year. I mean, it is gorgeous. The property is gorgeous. They upgraded all the restaurants, got Bob's Steak and Chop House now. Like, it's amazing. So, and then they'll probably extend this thing out for you if you want to wait for COVID to be over. I'll bet they'd be gracious to do that. So we are going to start the bidding at 50% of face value, right? So $750 is where the bid starts. And so I'm going to be watching my chat to see, and there's an 800 from Tim Barrett. Now, I'm not going to name all of these, but Tim, thank you very much for getting our bidding going. Who's going to go beyond Tim? Let's do this. I feel like we need mute. This is when the band needs to play. You need that guy that does all the yelling and said, hey, Tim, you just outbidded yourself. Nope, it's going. Okay, Daniel, 900. Daniel stepped it up to 900. I mean, this is like when you have that family coming from out of town that you love them, but you'd really like for them to kind of stay at a hotel, but you don't want to like tell them they need to stay at a hotel. You go, hey, I was at this golf tournament and I won this thing, and so I'd like for you to use it, and then you keep the golf. You take some friends to go play golf, but you put them in the hotel. This thing, Tim, $1,000. Thank you, sir. I don't know how long we go. I'm watching everybody's faces and looking, see who's going at the keyboards. Tim outbidded himself again too. He's so competitive. He's competing with himself. You see how that, like, is no one going to step up and challenge Mr. Barrett?
I think Tina Ward is thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tina Ward. She's hemming and hawing. See her. The Omni Hotel and Country Club, we just have to thank them so much. They were so gracious and so generous, and they helped us get creative with this tournament. Not doing a traditional shotgun tournament is really something special. We are the only people that they've ever had this happen to, and we are just so lucky that we were able to play over 2 days. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jenny. And so I'm gonna tell a brief story about that, just so we can give them a little bit of love. And then when I'm done with this story, the bidding is going to be over. So we did, February, March, we started planning this thing when everything was shutting down, right? And nobody, like Fauci, nobody knew anything yet. We didn't know if this was going to run rampant, if this was going to be like some apocalypse movie, that we were watching. So, but we wanted to have a golf tournament. We at least wanted to get it on the calendar, because we didn't know what the fall was going to be like, and we didn't want to miss the opportunity to support the center and their mission. And Omni came right alongside. Everything for them had been canceled. Everybody was canceling everything. So just to put something on the calendar, they were grateful for. And so what they did is they actually opened up 2 courses that are usually closed for maintenance, so that the members had somewhere to play. Because it creates this thing in the beginning when courses are supposed to be closed, and then the members have nowhere to go play. So they moved their entire maintenance schedule around for the early part of this week so that we could book tee times months in advance. Like they changed everything the way that they do it in order to accommodate us getting out there. And yeah, they made some money off of it. That's awesome. That's what they're there to do. They didn't have to change the entire operation in order to accommodate this, but they did. And they've been a great partner, and we look forward to getting back out there again next year. So, okay. I am seeing 1,100
from Tim Barrett, and I am going to do the 1100 going once, 1100 going twice. I'm going to go to gallery view just so I'm not missing somebody that's like getting. I'm seeing keys. What's Don Ames doing? Is Don going there? Watching. Don was trying to tell you going 2,000, Don? Is that what I saw? Or you're saying I'm good? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. You just held up a 2. I'm like, oh, it's like holding up your panel. Okay. So, 1,200. Tim's at 1,200. Tim, this is so confusing. You guys can unmute. Like, you can unmute if you want to. Like, you don't have to stay muted. This is a meeting. This isn't a show.
1,200, Sean. I'm at 1,200.
All right, Tim Barrett is at 1,200.
Bring somebody down. Competition here. Come on. Somebody take me down. Let's get it up.
I'm going 1,200 going once. I'm going 1,200 going twice. Sold to Tim Barrett, $1,200.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, I just got to say a few things, Sean. This has just been a great experience, and you guys have all done such a fantastic job. I love, being invited in just to be a part with you guys. I love what you're doing, and you're all fantastic. So just wanted to say thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. Thanks for coming out and playing. Thanks for coming out and supporting. We've had our conversations. I know you believe in the mission the center is on as well, and I appreciate you being a good friend and a good supporter of my passion as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so that is it. So I got a couple. Somebody say something. So I got a couple things I want to leave you with. As I mentioned earlier, the Veterans Ball is on March 5th. We're doing a virtual ball. You'll be getting some email about that when we send out kind of the post tournament. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out. We're going to go ahead and include information about the Veteran Ball. We will also, I want you to go ahead and look at your calendars because we're already talking to Omni. We haven't put a contract in place yet. Pick the date, but start looking. We're thinking we're going to do a Friday next year. And so look at November 5th, November 12th, kind of those. Those are both Fridays. So just kind of pencil that in there that you're probably going to be playing in the Samaritan Cup. And then as soon as we get a contract in place and we pick the date and we know stuff like that, we will get the information out to y'all. So just go ahead and pencil that one in. You will be getting an email with team photos and other photos, all the pictures that Jenny was taking out there. Last words, thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us for the last 2 days. Thank you for everything that you've done coming along this journey with us in serving Central Texans that have the mental health needs, and we want to help them. We want to be there for them and give them that care, give them access to care that they otherwise wouldn't have. We are going to leave you, and then we'll be here when we're done. But I'm playing one last video for you because it is Veterans Day. I just love this thing. So we're going to play this.
Trail, and those big songs go rolling along. In and out, hear them shout, counter marching all about, and those big songs go rolling along. For it's high, high beat, the field artillery. Count out the numbers on the strong. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And wherever you go, you will always know that those big songs go rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college. shore and to the bar. Until we meet once more, it's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through howling gale and shot and shell to win our victory. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready to or die. I will stand behind for you. Up we go into the wild blue yonder, fighting high into the sand. Here they come, showing to me our thunder. And boys, give them the gun. And we dive, starting a flame from under, up with one terrible roar. We live with faith from the down in vain, but nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. From the halls of Mount Tezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor free. We are proud to claim the time.